Hello and welcome to the Mindset Coach podcast, the show where coaches and coaches-to-be tune in to learn how to integrate mindset coaching tools and neuroscience-based techniques into their practice and grow and scale a coaching business they love. Each week I'll be sharing easy-to-implement tips, case studies and business strategies that you can use right away to transform your own mindset and the mindset of those you coach. I'm your host, Lara Young, founder of the Mindset Coach Academy, author of 52 Adventures to Change Your Life, award-winning business owner, coach and coach trainer. Tune into this podcast each Friday, free on all the podcasting apps, and click to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And remember, mindset is everything. Let's talk about success for a moment, because a lot of our clients come to us, don't they, because they want to achieve success in some area of their life, whether that is success in business or dating, relationships, parenting, whether it's financial success, whether it's health and fitness and well-being success. And it's important that we understand what success actually means. And I really love the way in which, as coaches, we can use stories and metaphors in conscious level coaching as well as in hypnotherapy, which really open up our clients' conscious and unconscious awareness to possibilities. And so in this week's episode, I wanted to share with you one of my favorite stories from Paulo Coelho about success. Tune in, listen in, and let me know what you think. And so the little boy went to his father and said, Dad, what's the secret of success in life? His father said, Son, that's a very difficult question. I'm not one to give you an answer. Why don't you ask your mother? So the little boy went to his mother and said, Mum, what's the secret to success in life? His mother said, Son, that's a very difficult question, and I'm not one to give you an answer. Why don't you wait until the summer holidays and go see the wise one who lives in the castle? The wise one is sure to know. And so, with barely concealed excitement and anticipation, the little boy waited through the winds of autumn, the frosts of winter, the unfurling of spring, and the promise of early summer until the holidays arrived. He packed his rucksack with all the things he might need and set off for the distant castle of the wise one. He walked the lengths of deep valleys, climbed across high mountains, crossed fast rivers, swam broad lakes, and trekked through dense forests until finally he reached the castle. In the courtyard, he was amazed to find it packed with people of every description. All were waiting to receive learning and knowledge from the wise one. He was surprised that so many people from so many walks of life could be so interested in learning the wisdom. There were actors and dancers and painters. There were lawyers, doctors and teachers. There were butchers, bakers and candlestick makers. There were business people, bankers and accountants. There were bus drivers, plumbers and electricians. There were doctors, nurses and people from the social services. There were even some politicians and academics. The little boy waited patiently in turn. Finally, he arrived before the wise one. Please tell me, he asked, what is the secret of success in life? Son, said the wise one, that's a very difficult question. And while I'm thinking of an answer, take time to visit my castle and appreciate all its wonder and beauty. Remove your shoes, for it is the custom in this land, and feel the smooth coolness of the mosaic floors in my reception rooms. Take a look at the fine hanging tapestries in my bedrooms. Notice the richness of their colours and the detail of their description. Take time to listen to the harmonious music of my musicians, for the sounds they make will delight and enchant your ears and your soul. Be sure to visit my kitchens and taste the foods my chefs produce. For the food they make, whether piquant or sweet, salt or sharp, sour or hot, spicy or subtle, will excite your senses as never before. And do not miss my gardens and orchards, For the sweet smells of the fruit in blossom and the tart aromas of the herbs will transport you to a land of long-forgotten memories. As the little boy was about to leave, the wise one stopped him and took out from a concealed cloak pocket a small spoon and a bottle. "Just one thing before you go. Take this spoon to be sure," the wise one said, putting 2 drops of oil from the bottle onto the spoon. "That under no circumstances you spill these 2 precious drops. Be back in 2 hours and I'll answer your question." Exactly 2 hours later, the little boy returned. The wise one asked, "And did you feel the cool texture of my floors, see the deep richness of my tapestries, inhale the powerful aromas from my gardens, taste the delicious fare prepared by my chefs, and hear the sweet sounds of my musicians?" The little boy shook his head and said, No, I did none of those things. But look, I still have the 2 drops of oil in my spoon." The wise one paused for a moment and then said, "My son, never trust anyone whose house you do not know. Go back again. This time take all the time you need to appreciate all there is to be appreciated. This time use the powers of all your senses to notice the richness and glory that is around you. And then return once again, having noticed everything that is remarkable with the spoon and the 2 drops of oil." And so the little boy revisited the castle. When he returned 4 hours later, he was ecstatic. His whole body was live and fluid. His eyes shone. His gestures were broad and expansive. Full of wonder and amazement, he spoke to the wise one. "Oh, it's wonderful, all so wonderful. I saw the tapestries with their deep colours and fine details. I heard the rich and mellow strains of the musicians. I tried each and every one of the mouth-watering tastes in the kitchens. I smelled each and of all the perfumes in the gardens and orchards, and I felt the cool smoothness of the mosaics on the soles of my feet. Everything here is completely wonderful." "Yes, indeed it is," said the wise one. "It is completely wonderful. But what has it become, may I ask, of the drops of oil that were on your spoon?" And of course, in his excitement, the little boy had dropped the precious oil. "The secret of success in life," said the wise one, "is really very simple. In order to absorb, understand, and use the richness of the world that surrounds you, pay attention through every one of your 5 senses, for each is a priceless gift. Only then will you begin to notice how the whole world conspires to serve you in reaching whatever it is that you want. And as you begin to discover how to move in the direction you desire, engaging with all the resources that surround you, you must equally learn to place your attention with care and flexibility. So just as you notice how magnificent and wonderful the whole world is, you must equally never cease to pay attention to the drops of oil on your spoon." I love Paulo Coelho's work, and I love using storytelling and metaphors in the work that I do, whether that is in conscious level coaching or whether that is in hypnotherapy, because it really does awaken our minds to different possibilities and different ways of thinking about problems, finding solutions, exploring the world. And, that story about the secret of success is something I know that every coach will want to really hold in your mind as you're coaching your clients, and maybe even have them hold in their mind as well, have an awareness of the importance of having this rich sensory life experience and focusing on the goal, but neither one to the detriment of the other. So sometimes we find that our clients are so committed and so in focus with what it is that they want to achieve. They're so focused on their goal that it's to the exclusion of all other things. It can be to the detriment of their relationships. It can be that they lose sight of what's important to them in other areas of their lives as they pursue this goal or vision with a single-minded sort of attention and action taking. And, there's a saying for it, isn't there? You've just got to stop and smell the roses. Sometimes you have to stop and smell the roses. And as coaches, it's important for us to be able to let our clients know that, achieving goals and results can take time. It's a journey. It's a process. And all the while that we're taking steps, all the while that we're navigating the tasks and actions we need to take to achieve a goal, we're still living life.
Want to learn more about how you can become a certified mindset coach? Head on over to our website, www.mindsetcoachacademy.com/coach certification, and you'll find all the information that you need, along with a button to book a call with me to talk about how you can become the best coach you can be.
There is life happening all around us. Their relationships, our families, our children, our partners. The sun is still shining. The grass is still cool and fresh under our feet. Nature exists. There's a whole world out there that we can be exploring while we're at the same time in pursuit of our goals. And that's the richness of life, and that's what helps us to keep balanced and energized, is to yes, have goals and have visions and have things that we want to achieve. But don't stop everything else that we're doing. Don't stop our pure pleasure and enjoyment that comes from, snuggling with the family while watching a film, or going for a dip in the ocean, having a refreshing cool down, or walking on the sand, or walking your dog, or going and seeing a film that you've always wanted to see. And so part of our tasking, as well as obviously focusing on tasks that help our clients move towards their goal, is also around their well-being, their self-care, their living life, they're enjoying life. Some people think they have to put off enjoyment of life until they've achieved a goal. So often we hear, I can't start my business until I've got a website or a logo or the colors are right. I can't start dating until I've lost 10 kilos. I can't run the London Marathon until I've finished this big project at work. There are so many ways that we can inhibit ourselves and think that the goal has to be the only thing that's happening in our life. The goal is part of our life. The goal achievement is part of our life. And it's actually noticing and paying attention to the richness of life and the richness of experience that can bring us even more quickly towards the achievement of our goal, almost without us even noticing. Because when we are open, when we are very clear about what it is that we want and desire in our lives, when we really know that without a shadow of a doubt, that is what we want to bring into our lives, whether it's an experience, a person, more money, more time, more energy, whatever it is, then when we're really clear about that, our reticular activation system ignites and it starts to look for the evidence. It starts to find opportunities for us to bring that into our being. And so if we never go anywhere, if we stop doing the things we love doing, if we're not out there enjoying the world, then we're not going to notice those opportunities. And in fact, achieving our goals will take even longer than it would have if we combine the focus and energy and attention to what it is that we desire with the focus and energy and attention to all the wonderful things that we already have in our lives. Really look forward to seeing you in our next episode, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what that story meant for you. Bye for now.
Well, that wraps up this week's episode of the Mindset Coach podcast. Remember to join us next week for another episode and subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a review if you've loved it. Share it with your friends. And I really look forward to learning how you're implementing the tools and techniques that you're learning here. Mindset is everything.